Hey guys, welcome back to another little mini chit chat video. Welcome back to another little mini reaction video. Okay, guys, before we go ahead and get into today's topic, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Shout out to all our Purple Heart members. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. If you didn't get a chance to catch the live, because I literally didn't make a community post about it, I kind of just went live. Don't worry, it'll be re uploaded. You guys can check it out then. So, thank you for all your support in advance. Shout out to everyone who is taking part in our watch time giveaway. And thank you to all of our new subscribers. Thank you guys for joining the family. We appreciate you guys. And so, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into today's topic. So, as you guys can see, I titled the video, What's Really Going On in Venezuela. So, before I went live, Um, I was watching Midas Touch. I'm gonna link the channel in the description. You guys can go over there and check out the video. Also, I watched a couple international news channels and stuff like that yesterday, so I could get the full, real, truthful information about what is actually happening over there, not just what has been like regurgitated on North American news channels. It never even compares to the reality of what's actually going on in the countries they're talking about. So if you're keeping up with the situation, then you would know that what you're hearing like on these American channels and um, other channels that kind of back the narrative, you would think that this is all in one smooth transaction. That they have reached an agreement with the Delcy Rodriguez or Rodrigo, whatever her name is. I'm sorry if I said the last name incorrectly. That they've reached an agreement with her, that everything is smooth, they're ready to go in and just get the oil and stuff in and out type of thing and move on to the next, right? Actually, that is so far from the truth. That is so far from the truth. When I watched some of the international news channels, you could see like the humanitarian crisis that is actually occurring down there. Like it was bad before, but now it's 10 times worse. People are fleeing to Colombia with newborn babies, trying to get prenatal care and get care for their newborns. Women are actually making the 20-hour journey to go and give birth in Colombia because the healthcare is so much better. The people on the ground are telling you about how bad it is. There's no food, no medicine. Um, there's no the basically the society is crumbling, falling apart, right? Um, but there's something even worse going on, right? Which is what I knew was gonna happen, right? This is something like people in North America and America in particular, like they just don't get it, right? They just don't get it. These interventions that they do when they leave these places, it's hell on earth for anyone there who even is suspected of being aligned with their way of thinking, much less even having helped them, right? So what's actually happening in Venezuela is you have the collectivos, as they're called, basically the people who are like loyal to Maduro. There are certain government backed militias, certain groups and stuff like that, right, that has ties to the party, that are now out in the street on enforcement duty, and they are hunting down, and this is, I didn't even need the news to tell me this, because I understand very well how the Caribbean and Latin America, I understand very well how the thinking process is, right? So you already knew this was coming. Of course they're gonna go find out who the rat is. Of course they're gonna go search and find out who the traitor is, who's the one that betrayed them, who's the one that gave up the information, who's the one that let them in, right? We said this from the get go. I said this from the get go when I reacted to the invasion, arrest, whatever you want to call it. You can't do those type of things in those type of environments just based on your own intelligence. It doesn't work that way, right? So it's always, 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 always the people on your in your inner circle, the people who are closest to you. The betrayal always comes from the closest. So of course they start cracking down. Of course they're rounding up whoever they think knows or has information. And best believe they're gonna get the information. They will get all of the information, right? Um, because none of the rules of engagement apply in that side of the world. So there is no oversight on how the information is actually extracted, right? So definitely they're gonna find out who let the Americans in, who was the one that set it up, who did the betrayal. All of it's going to come out, and action is going to be taken against those people, which is exactly what's starting to happen. So this whole thing about, we're in control and we're running things and blah blah blah. um yeah, that stuff doesn't apply. That stuff doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way, right? Nobody right now, like, they're searching through phones and stuff. They're stopping people on the street, digging down everything. If you even have, if anything that resembles support for what happened and support for the Americans, you're done. So best believe nobody in Venezuela right now is stepping out and saying, "Yes, I'm with the Americans. Yes, yes, freedom, all this stuff." And yeah, and they're so excited. Nobody is doing that. Maybe in Florida or wherever they were showing on the news, all these people jumping up and dancing in the streets. I bet you they're not doing that in Caracas. There is no dancing up and down in the street down there, right? What you have on the ground, from what you can see from international news and news organizations that are actually there on the ground showing you, humanitarian crisis, mothers running with their babies to Colombia to get treatment, women, pregnant women making 12, 20-hour drives so they can go and have their babies in Colombia. Um, Touching on Colombia really, really quickly before we wrap it up, right? If you've been keeping up with the news, also, you will see that, you know, um, Mark, I don't even know what to say his name pronounced. The Rubio, Mr. Rubio, was on the news, threatening Colombia and Trump, and they were threatening Colombia. You're next, you're next. And I watched international news where the Colombian president said basically, "Yeah, come and get me." He said it on live television, right? The whole speech. He said, "Yeah, come and get me if you want to," especially to Rubio. They were making fun of him and whatever issues he had with his parents and the whatever, whatever, their immigration to the States and blah, blah. They were talking all about it over there in Colombia. And the Colombian president said, "You come and get me if you want to put on those orange jumpsuits. Come and get me," right? What do you have today happening? All of a sudden there's been a turn of change of plans. Trump has actually reached out to the Colombian president and they chopped it up, and he actually invited him to the White House, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure he's smart enough not to go. Not to go. um but yeah, right, the minute you had some pushback, the minute you ran up on some real, like, "Yeah, come and get me, yeah, come and get, let's do it, let's do it," it's all of a sudden, "Yeah, I was just, that was just talk. That was nothing real. No, no, no. Just to show you how unserious I am, let me invite you. Come on over to the White House. Come and look at the new ballroom. Come and let me give you a tour of the new gardens. Let me show you the new ballroom that I built." Like, what? So you're not invading Colombia? You change your mind? Okay. I guess it's back to Greenland then. Let me know what you guys think about this whole crazy situation. If you guys are keeping up with this stuff, Anybody who actually believes that this is gonna end well and this is just a little quick in and out operation, you're so far off the mark. This is just getting started, right? What do you think is gonna happen with the opposition? What do you think is gonna even happen if they even tried to hold an election? Or they even tried to unseat Delcy? See, a lot of people not in North American circles are saying that this lady that they have put in charge, she might actually be she might actually be worse than Maduro. Isn't that something? Right? Like the vice president, obviously they think along the same lines. And she's not stupid. She's not dumb. The minute she starts to look like she might have been the one that let them in so that she could be in power, she's done. Literally done. D-O-N-E done. Yeah. So she's definitely gonna be extra loyal. It's every interview, every time she's talking, it's free Maduro and he's the rightful leader and free our leader. She know better. The minute she started to come across like she set this whole thing up so she could snatch power, she's done for. So that's not happening. And the other lady, that's the opposition leader, talking about she's making plans to return and all of this other stuff, I would rethink those plans. For real, for real. I wouldn't return. This is not the time. This is not the time. Anybody who is trying to wrestle away power from um the party right now, just believe the collectivos, as they're called, they will be coming to scoop you up. They're talking about how people have been disappearing. Of course people are disappearing. Of course people are have been disappearing. They're snatching up anyone they even think might be a traitor. And of course they're torturing them for information. Of course. Like, what did they think was gonna happen? This is what I always say, is the same thing over and over and over again. Right? You take out the people who can actually control the craziness and then act shocked when the craziness just explodes. This stuff is getting so bad. It kind of makes sense why Trump is trying to smooth it over with Colombia, because he knows it's like the Colombian the doctor was saying at the hospital, they're getting ready for like a wave of migrants fleeing the instability in their country because they already know what's about to go down there, right? If it was that easy to have a transition of power, don't you think they would have had a transition of power a long time ago? Are people not paying attention? They said that the other lady won the election by like a landslide. Is she in power? No. So obviously it was never gonna be a smooth exchange. Who you're running it? How? Are you planning to like actually set up military encampment down there to protect whoever is going to be running it for you, right? Are you just gonna how are you gonna run it when you're not over there? So like that's why I don't follow the Western media when it comes to certain things. I watch international news so I can get the truth and see what's really going on after this so-called liberation, right? They've been liberated. If you look at history, everywhere they go they liberate, quote unquote liberate. um it's not really ever working out for the people left behind. It's actually usually worse. Really bad. So let me know excuse me, let me know if you guys are keeping up with what's going on in Venezuela and now spreading over into Colombia. Let me know if you guys are keeping up with that. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you to everyone who came through. We appreciate your time. Stay up and stay blessed, and we'll catch you guys in another video. Deuces.